We have new information to a story we first brought you back in November after a sheriff's deputy was cleared for shooting a juvenile.
KPVI News That Works for You journalist Deanne Coffin has been working to find out the details. She joins us now live in our newsroom with the latest. Deanne.
Matt and Marlise, I talked to the attorney of the juvenile shot by the Bannock County Sheriff's deputy after he was cleared from the incident and what their plans are moving forward.
They tased him several times.
Bannock County Sheriff Lorin Nielsen says his deputy was cleared after shooting a juvenile back in November after an investigation by Power County and other agencies. Sheriff Nielsen says the juvenile was a passenger in a vehicle that was pulled over for a traffic violation. During the traffic stop, an officer smelled marijuana and asked the occupants to step out of the car. That's when the juvenile ran and was pursued by another deputy. Once they caught up with the juvenile, the situation escalated into an altercation.
And as the deputy was on the ground, we have our vests and with our guns and stuff strapped to the vest because it's easier on the back. Guy had access to the gun. He also had his hands on his throat. The officer was clearly unable to protect himself, and so the officer involved fired one shot into his abdomen. Not to necessarily kill him, but to stop him, and that is what happened.
Sheriff Nielsen says that although they had no video from the body cam during the altercation, they did have audio, which helped to clear the deputy in the investigation.
It helped back up what their written statements were.
But the attorney of the juvenile says they are going to continue to review evidence and questions about the police report.
The juvenile's back was to the officer that shot him. So he was not facing the officer, the deputy, directly. And so this is a case of where there's definitely questions as to whether there was, if there's other means available he could have used to apprehend the juvenile instead of having to pull out his firearm, his service weapon, and shooting him in the back. So we are looking into that.
Meanwhile, Sheriff Nielsen says the deputy that has been cleared went through a psychological evaluation and returned back to work last week. He says their next step is reviewing the incident to see if changes need to be made in their operations or training.
We will have a meeting on this with our commanders and see what we can learn from it, what we can do different. I'm not going to second guess what an officer does in a split second and what the officer knows and what we think he should have known. It's what he knows. The code says what he knew at that particular time and what he felt at that particular time.
The juvenile's attorney says they are looking into the possibility of filing a tort claim under the Idaho Tort Claim Act or a civil action suit against the Bannock County Sheriff's Office. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Deanne Coffin, KPVI News That Works for You.
Okay, thank you very much, Deanne.